Hi everyone. We wait few seconds that people join us. The room is populating. I see. Uh, so hello, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to the 32nd PAVE Europe virtual panel. So as Europe enters a pivotal phase for autonomous vehicles, strong leadership and clear strategic direction are more essential than ever. We see that systems and technologies are maturing and advancing fast. Also, from the regulatory frameworks point of view, they are evolving at European Commission level, at UNICE level, and also at the national level. And this year, we also expect deployment in Europe. So deployment is moving steadily towards a real scale. With that progress comes not only tremendous opportunities, but also a set of complex technical, social, and policy challenges that the entire ecosystem must navigate together. I'm Guido Di Pasquale, I'm the managing director at PAVE Europe, and I'm very delighted today to welcome the new chairman of PAVE Europe, Dr. Matthias Schubert, who is in his daily life executive vice president for mobility at TÜV Rheinland. And thank you, Matthias. Welcome. And thank you for joining this conversation on the future of mobility in Europe.
Thank you very much, Guido. It's a pleasure being here with you.
So with that, thank you again to the participant for joining us, and please stay engaged, ask questions, use the chat box to share or to ask questions to Matthias and to share also your perspectives about the future of mobility in Europe and the future of autonomous mobility in Europe. So with that, congratulations again, Matthias, for the new role as chairman of PAVE
Thank you,
Europe.
Guido.
Very happy to have you as the new chairman. And as you are stepping into the role of chairman at this crucial moment, as I mentioned, for automated mobility in Europe. So from your large experience and from your perspective, what makes this phase particularly critical for the future of autonomous vehicles?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. It is a crucial point in time that we're seeing right now. Several factors are coming together. We see that we're migrating from research and pilot projects to some first real-world deployments at larger scale, with players coming from all across the world, starting operations in Europe. And this is uh, in congruence with technical projects, progress that has accelerated tremendously in AI, in connectivity, sensor systems. We've reached a level where they support more and more complex use cases. And this, and that's why it's a crucial point of time, this progress now needs to be matched by also ever more mature regulatory frameworks. We need to make sure that we don't lose trust now, public trust, when it comes to scaling. And also infrastructure needs to be ready. I think Europe has a couple of unique opportunities in this framework, but needs to do its homework right now.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Indeed, things are changing in the field in transport and mobility. And what do you think it's fundamentally different from some years ago? Like if we look at 5 years ago, where we had some few pilots in Europe, do you think now we are ready for scaling up?
Well, as you say, I think 5 years ago, it was still about proving the feasibility, right, of autonomous driving. We had a lot of prototypes and pilots going on, trying to prove that the technology can do what it's expected to do. Today, conversations have shifted totally towards scaling these technologies and trying to demonstrate their capabilities in real world environments. As I said, technology has matured significantly, being it in AI, in machine learning, in sensor fusion. And there's also, at the same time, greater regulatory clarity, and public awareness has also grown. Still, there are a couple of changes around cybersecurity, infrastructure, and also the regulatory framework in Europe still needs to be more unified. It's still too scattered. So while we see that we're mature in many areas, still a lot of work to be done, I think, for large-scale deployment.
Yeah, indeed. So if we look at the future of mobility in Europe, yeah, I know we don't have the crystal ball, but if we look ahead to the next decade, for example, how do you envision the future of mobility ecosystem in Europe, and in particular, of course, for automated mobility? And as we in Europe have a particular focus on shared mobility and public transport and goods transportation, so how do you see this evolving in the next decade?
Well, I think the mobility ecosystem in Europe will be highly integrated with automated and connected vehicles playing a central role in it. These vehicles will complement public transport by providing first and last mile solutions. We will see it reducing congestion, and we'll see it improving accessibility in urban and rural areas. I think shared mobility services will become more prevalent, and they will be supported by autonomous fleets that operate more efficiently than we see today. Automated vehicles will enhance last mile transportation, and they will be playing an important role in last mile delivery and the logistics hubs. So I think there's going to be huge progress. We will see level 4 fleets, I think, already operational by the end of this decade.
Yeah, that's very very exciting and very
Yes, it
promising.
is.
So as we said, in the past years, Europe has seen many pilots and trials. So what do you see as the key barriers and also enablers to moving from this experimentation that we had in the past years to scalable real world deployment that we all expect and
Uh,
hope to see soon in European cities?
well, a couple of things come to my mind. Still some homework to be done, as I said. First of all, regulation is fragmented still in Europe. Between member states, there's no standardized approach. And that needs to change, right? If we want to see at one day cross-border operations anyway, but also if you look into the business cases, these technologies come with high cost. And if you are not able to, generate returns on a larger scale because of a scattered regulatory framework, it makes business cases much more difficult. There's also investment into infrastructure necessary. I'm not only thinking about 5G, also some basic things need to be done in order to allow for autonomous driving to work safely. And last but not least, maybe there's also public skepticism that we need to address, right? That's why we're here. That's the purpose of PAVE. And I really do think we need some to do some work here, because public perception in Europe is rather focused on the problems that we here and there have than on the opportunities. So also there something needs to happen.
Yeah, yeah, and I'd like to come back to this later in our conversation because, as you say, it's crucial for PAVE Europe mission this aspect.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, let's talk about what you do at TÜV Rheinland and your work, this very big organization, and the lessons that you can share with us from your experience. So, what are for you the most critical elements of safety assessment and system validation that must be in place before automated mobility can scale responsibly?
Well, a couple of things come to my mind. First of all, functional safety. This is not new, right? But functional safety plays a crucial role in autonomous mobility, because we need to make sure that these systems operate reliably and safely under all conditions, and that they also fail safely when necessary. And this is something that needs to be uh, addressed from the outset. If you design An application, it needs to be taken into account. The safety case needs to play a crucial role from the very beginning. Cybersecurity, secondly, comes to my mind. Cybersecurity, of course, we need to protect these systems from external threats, and we need to ensure data integrity. And this is also not a given. We need to work on that. Human machine interface. We need to make sure that these systems can effectively communicate with users and other road users, because there will be co-use of infrastructure for decades to come. Scenario testing, we will have to work on a wide range of scenarios, real world scenarios, in order to ensure through testing that we guarantee safety even before we come to the road. And last but not least, I think continuous monitoring also from our experience is crucial, because these systems need to evolve. We need to design an approach that allows for continuous monitoring and performance evaluation to update these systems whenever necessary. And it's true that we are working on all of these aspects at TÜV Rheinland, and as the technology and our partners in the ecosystem, we are also making progress. Thankfully, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true that we have this new element that is software and that comes now into the game that needs to be assessed and validated, and it's key element for safety
Yeah.
in the future. And do you think that the regulatory frameworks that you mentioned already are evolving rightly in Europe, and that we are well positioned, let's say, in this sense to support AVs at scale?
I think we're well positioned in the sense that we're trying to balance our commitment to safety and sustainability with innovation. And while it's not easy to strike the right balance here, I think exactly that approach is what will be our or Europe's advantage in this race. And also, I think the approach towards designing a more unified regulatory framework through the EU General Safety Regulation is the right approach. We're making progress here, although we still have to speed up. We're still too fragmented when it comes to regulation, I think, in Europe. And also, what I said, digital infrastructure is, if we really want to benefit from this technology and be at the forefront, we also need to upgrade our infrastructure. It is not yet at the level, at least not across the continent, that we need it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. Harmonization versus fragmentation. So, how important is that regulatory harmonization across EU member states and also other states, maybe in Europe? So, what are the risks that you see if this is not done, or if we are not converging to an harmonized framework? I know that there
Well,
are initiatives in Europe in this sense, and also supported by UNICE, but this is a risk actually.
I fully agree. There is a big risk. Fragmentation is a risk. So harmonization is a must. I said it at the beginning. In the end, we want to see a business case around these systems. And to see a business case with such important investment at the beginning, you need to scale. And if then you have to adapt your solution to an ever growing and more complex regulatory framework, this is not going to work. So in order to have a business case, we need harmonization. And not only the business cases, it's also about, we see technological progress at an unknown speed right now. Regulation needs to match that speed, or at least we need to be ready to work with that speed. And we cannot do that if our own setup is so fragmented. Also, from an evolutionary perspective, we need to make sure that we come to standards, and that we're then able to speed up the evolution of these standards as well. So I think harmonization is key at this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah, and hopefully we will see this more and more in the coming months, also from initiatives from the European Commission that is
Yeah.
trying to set up this with test beds and cross-border test beds in Europe. So you mentioned already the importance of engaging with the society and building trust with all the different communities, users of mobility, of the technology, but also non-users, those who will be impacted in a way from this. So public trust remains a decisive factor for automated mobility. So in your view, what most strongly influences user acceptance? Is it the technology performance? Is it transparency? Is it regulation, as we said, or experience? So experience of the vehicles.
Mm. Well, I think it's influenced by several factors. But what we see all across the use cases that are already deployed is that when people start experiencing this technology, they immediately start gaining trust because they perceive, you know, the quality and the level of safety that these technologies already offers. So experience, I think, is key, making sure that people are able to see it firsthand. While at the same time, we also need to make sure that public perception is not influenced too much by you know, bad examples, right? We need to make sure that vehicles that come onto the road are really safe, that are tested, in order to avoid negative press, which still today influences. So I think first-hand experience is still more impactful, but making sure that there is less bad examples is also crucial. And then transparency, I think, is the third factor. We need to explain to people how technology works and what is done, because it's a lot that's been done. What is all done to make sure it's safe? What is done about testing? How regulation helps? If we put that forward, it can also, I think, increase the trust of people. And maybe last but not least, also the involvement of independent third parties, I think, plays a role. We've done research with end users, market research, to see whether there is trust in independent third party players when it comes to autonomous driving, and it's true. People tend to place trust in our role. So last but not least, let's make sure that we use this factor as well.
Yeah, and indeed, this was my question because independent testing, I mean, as you do at TÜV Rheinland, validation certification body, how this can contribute to gain public confidence. You know, it's something that people don't know or they don't see what is behind the scene, but in some way we should be able to make it visible, to let them know that there is a process behind that is certifying and doing the assessment and the testing. So, and it's not easy to communicate this to the general public.
No, I think it's not, because as the use cases and the technology becomes ever more complex, also the testing processes need to become more complex, right? There's real world testing. We are working on world-class test tracks, and also simulation plays a role. This is complex stuff, I agree. But then at the same time, as I said, we've tested it in market research. Our brand does inspire trust. If we make sure that we do everything possible and necessary to test these systems associated with our brand, that does help to create trust. It's the impartiality that's associated with our work and our brand that helps to create trust. Still, we need to make sure that we communicate that in a transparent and easy to digest way to the public.
Yeah, yeah. So are we doing enough today, or we are not doing enough to communicate safety and the reliability of non-technical audiences? So
I mean,
are we doing enough to do that?
because we felt there was a need to communicate more, we participated in creating PAVE Europe, right? That came from the conviction that we need to do more. And with PAVE Europe now being in full evolution, we see that we're making progress, but still, I think more to be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's continue what we do. Our invitation goes out to everybody out there to join us with your expertise and your resources, because I do still believe we can do more. Yes.
Yeah. Fully agree. And as PAVE Europe, we are committed to push this forward.
It's our reason
And
for being.
yes, indeed. And also another important aspect here, especially in Europe, we are quite good in that, is collaboration
Mhm.
across the ecosystem. So to work together and this successful deployment requires this close cooperation between industries and cities and policymakers and the regulators. And I must say that in Europe we are in good path for that. So there are a lot of initiatives, and PAVE Europe is one of them that brings together the community. So where do you see collaboration working well today, and where does it need to be improved?
Well, collaboration does work well when there's trust, right? And one could think that independent third-party players like us try to, slow innovation down, try to prevent things from happening by rigorously or too rigorously testing and challenging things. I don't think that's the case, right? And that's why, again, we supported the creation of PAVE at the final, because we wanted to send out that invitation clearly to collaborate. We don't want to slow down. We want to make sure progress is safe. And that message has been understood, I think, also by policymakers. They traditionally look at third-party players like us as a resource to make evolution evolve. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're trying to collaborate not only with industry and technology developers, but also with authorities when it comes to finding the right way to strike that balance between regulation and innovation. So yes, I think we're doing quite good, especially over the last 18 months. I see acceleration everywhere, but still there are a couple of questions that are not fully solved. So we need to continue, and it's also the case for policymakers. It's not yet all clear. So let's try to. That will be my call. Let's try to take a little more risk here and there, back it up by rigorous testing, but then let's move forward and learn while we walk. I think this is actually what's crucial right now. Probably the next level of collaboration. But I think I'm positive. From what I see, there's real conviction from everybody that this needs to be the way.
Yeah, thank you very much. And now let's talk about PAVE Europe and what's next, because you have just started a new role as chairman of PAVE Europe.
Mhm.
And so what is your vision for PAVE Europe this year, 26, and also beyond? So what impact do you want that this organization should have in Europe automated mobility landscape? So what is the impact that you expect and you would like to have in the ecosystem?
Well, first of all, we've seen that we've grown strongly over the last 2 years. I think many of the key players, being it technology developers, industry, being it authorities, being it operators, many of them, insurance players, many of the important actors in the ecosystem have joined us. But still, I think we can grow more. I expect further interested parties to join. So growing the platform is one thing I would like to see for the months to come. And secondly, we are addressed by more and more policymakers, authorities throughout Europe, asking us for a sounding, asking us to conduct a study for them, asking us to create conferences with them. So our knowledge is asked for, and I also look forward to continuing doing that making our expertise, the expertise of our members, accessible to everybody who needs it. This is actually what I'm really looking forward to for the next year.
Yes, thank you. And we all hope that this will be realized and that we will have more and more players joining us, also addressing different aspects, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
infrastructure and other aspect, impact on the cities, for example, insurance companies and so on and so forth. So it's very important that we keep this transversal, you know,
Yes. I mean, this
the,
is a shout out to everybody out there. Reach out to us. You
yeah.
can count on us. We're there to support as PAVE Europe.
Thank you, Matthias. We are almost at the end of our conversation. My last question is if you could leave industry leaders and policymakers with one key message today, what would it be to ensure Europe succeeds in automated mobility?
Let's do it. We're there. We have everything we need. Let's be courageous and do it together.
And let's do it together. We are here for that. As you said, we invite all the stakeholders to join the conversation. If we As we used to say, it's better that this is done together, and that even if there are disagreements, it's better to talk and do it and find consensus rather than say, well, criticizing afterwards where you are not part of the debate.
Fully agree.
So thank you very much, Matthias. Again, we are our time is up, and good luck with your new role. And I hope to see you soon in other conversations and see at some point where we are with the progress of automated mobility in Europe and the progress of PAVE Europe. Thank you
Thank you
all
very much, Guido.
for joining us. You will have the recording of this virtual panel on our YouTube channels for those who could not attend. And yeah, have a good day. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Guido.